Hey guys, DIY Maniac here. Today's video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. It's not going to be automotive or electrical subject. It's going to be muscle weight training and muscle conditioning and my home-built squat rack or press rack, half rack, power rack, whatever you want to call it. So in the video I'm going to go over how I made it, the supplies I used, the dimensions, and why I made it the way I did. So the construction is done with two 4x4 posts, pressure treated. Here where I am, you can only get the 4x4s pressure treated unless you go cedar and you pay a lot of money. And because I'm painting it, I didn't care if it was pressure treated. The rest of the framing is just your standard 2x4s, non-pressure treated. And the way I went about connecting everything was fastening it to the wall studs. So if we look inside the rack, we have three cross members, top, middle, and bottom, and all three are fastened into two studs on the back wall using light bolts, so secure to the wall that way. The 4x4 posts run right to the ground, and they are sitting on top of a 2x4 screwed in underneath, and that 2x4 runs underneath that bottom plate, basically wedging it in place. I didn't want to drill into my tile floor, so I found that was the best way to go about getting it secured. So there's not much lumber that was needed. Like I said, two 4x4s and roughly, I'm going to say about four 2x4 by 8-foot lengths went into the whole construction. So the dimensions, if we want to look at the distance in between the 4x4s, is 34 inches. The height of the total rack is 6 feet. So the 4x4 posts were bought at 8 feet and I cut 2 feet off. The reason I made it at 6 feet is because of the pull-up bar. I wanted to be able to do my pull-ups without smashing my head in the ceiling. So I made it a total of 6 feet tall. Spacing off of the wall, 18 inches. So my primary use for it is bench press rack and shoulder press and the pull-up, but I can do squats in it as well. Except what I do to do my squat, I stand inside the rack, hold my bar in the squat position, and then walk out. So that's how I go about doing the squats. I made the span 34 inches inside dimension because I made it built around my 6-foot bar. So if you have a 5-foot bar, these dimensions will not work. If you have a 7-foot bar, they will more than work. So with these dimensions, with the 6-foot bar, it still gives me some good spacing in between the first plate and the 4x4. So it doesn't hit it and cause any obstruction. It also, with this span for my chest width, allows me a very comfortable bench press positioning with my elbows. So I'm at 90 degree with still room to spare. And also for the squatting, gives me more than enough room to squat and walk out. If we look at the pull-up bar, the pull-up bar is all made of piping. So you're going to see a lot of this construction is using just galvanized pipe. It's all 3/4 inch galvanized. A lot of people say to use the 1 inch because it gives a better hand feel. For myself, I find the 3/4 inch gives the best hand feel. So here, if we look at the bar, basically we're coming off of the 2x4, which is carriage bolted in and hangers on the back, so it is very secure. It's doubled up as well over here, so I have two 2x4s doubled up, screwed in together. The carriage bolt, or the bolts holding the flange for the pull-up bar, span through both these 2x4s with nuts and lock washers on the back. I've been doing now 3 weeks of the pull-ups, and this thing has not moved at all. Granted, I'm 180 pounds. Maybe if you're 300 pounds, I can't speak to that, but I'm sure this is more than adequate for any weighted person. So we have the 1/2 inch flange, the 3/4 inch flange. I used a 6-inch section of pipe to space me away from the header. I find that gives me enough room. Coming to a T with our 3/4 inch pipe, which is a 40-inch span. And then going once again to the same thing on the other side. On the ends, I put horns. Usually I have these folded down. Let's see if I can do it here one-handed. No, I'm not going to be able to. Usually I have these folded downwards like that, so I could do a wide pull-up. You can see I have it both on both sides there. The reason I have it pointed up for now is because when I was doing my shoulder press, when they were in the down position, I actually found, oh there you go. So that's how it looks when it's in the down position. When I was doing my shoulder press, where my bar sits at the highest point, when I was coming up with my shoulder press, I was hitting this with the plate. So when I do that, I swing it upwards, and then when I'm going to do my wide pull-ups, I can swing it down and lock it in place. And it's very stable. I have no issues at all. For the bar supports, yeah, sorry guys, the area is not very big, so I'm going to have to stand back to give you a good image. For the bar supports, it's 1/2 inch piping with 90-degree elbows screwed through. So I believe it's a 5/8 hole drilled with a spade bit through the 4x4 to accept the 1/2 inch pipe. Remember, it's 1/2 inch inner diameter, so outer diameter is probably about 5/8, and that's why the 5/8 works. It's nice and snug. I had to actually knock it in with a rubber mallet. I have the 90-degree elbow, which gives me a little bit of a hook. I space it out about 2 inches from the 4x4, which gives me a nice cradle for the bar. And on the back side, it comes through just with a cap. And it's not going anywhere. It's nice and stable. And I have it in 3 settings. So first setting when I'm doing bench press. Second setting when I'm doing incline bench press. And the top setting is for both shoulder press as well as squats. So guys, that's my setup. What else am I missing? Sorry, it's a very ad-lib video. Oh yeah, let's talk about the plate supports. Plate support, once again, galvanized piping. In this case, 1/2 inch. It's a 8-inch section of pipe coming out. It's the same thing with the flange, as you can see in the back. 1/2 inch flange, line bolted into that 2x4, which is firmly secured to the wall, coming out, and that holds my plate. So I have one here for my 2.5 pound plates. I have another one for my 5 pound plates. And I also have plate storage on the side. I have these 1 inch hangers or plate supports that was off of an old workout station, which I have bolted or lag bolted into the 4x4. And the height off the floor, I made it more than adequate for my largest plate. So I have a lot of plate storage, and I can even add more if I need it. So as far as plates go, I have 2 35s, which I have on the bar right now. I have 2 metal 25s, as well as 2 plastic concrete cheapies 25s. And as well as I have 2 plastic 15s, multiple 5s, multiple 2.5s. I've got some dumbbells down here with 10s, 5s. So I don't have a wide selection of plates, but for the exercising I do, it's more than enough. Up on top, I have a little bit of bar storage. So as you can see, I have my preacher curl bar. I have a 5-foot bar, and I have actually a secondary 5-foot bar as well. So I have 2 5-foot bars, which really I don't use. I outgrew. The preacher bar I do use on occasion. So I'm able to put some storage up there. As far as for myself, I am 6'2". Would I have liked a pull-up area where I could fully hang with my legs fully extended? Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but I'm limited in the height I have. It's an 8 foot or 7.5 foot ceiling. So at the 6 foot, bending my knees and hanging like most of us have to do in shorter height areas, I'm able to hang nicely and get full pull-up. So my head really comes up and above the bar, which works out perfect for me. So like I said, it's spaced off the wall 18 inches. It's lag bolted or carriage bolted through in all the connections. On a lot of the connections as well, you can't see it because I painted it all black. I have hangers as well, brackets, 90-degree brackets holding everything in. And then the whole thing was painted with a flat black, just a typical trim-clad flat black paint for both wood and metal. What else about my setup? 1 inch bar. All my weights, my plates are 1 inch. I don't have Olympic size. It's all 1 inch with spring collars. And then my bench over here, which goes decline, flat, incline. I use that for both in the station and outside the station for doing sit-ups. When I'm doing chest exercise with dumbbells, that's the bench I use, and it's perfect for what I need. Now, having it 18 inches off the wall, is one limitation: shoulder press. I can't sit with this particular chair anyways because of the long extension out the back. When I put it, I put it straight up, you can see how it hits there and how far away now I am. So what I have to do when I do shoulder presses, I actually face the wall. So I turn the chair around, face the wall. That gets me under the bar so I could bring it up and then drop the chest and then do my shoulder presses. So I think that's pretty much it. It's a short and sweet video. I did look online for metal ones. They look very flimsy. The reviews do not look good in my price range of $300 to $500. You're not going to get Rogue or stuff like that at that price. You're going to have to spend a lot more. And I wanted to build something that was custom to my basement for my height requirements. And so, you know what? I went ahead and did this build. Total cost of parts of material, I'd say probably maybe $100 in total. Maybe $150 maximum with tax Canadian to build all that. That's what all the piping. The piping's expensive, and the lumber, which is really not that expensive at all. So that's my build. That's tailored to me. 6'2", 180 pounds. This really works for me. You guys might, when you do your build, definitely tailor it to really your dimensions. If you're using a 7-foot bar, you could probably space the 4x4s out even more if you wanted to, although I don't really see a need for that. Maybe some of you want to space it further off the wall. Space requirements in your workout area are not a concern. But that's pretty much it. So guys, if you have any further questions, I'm sure I missed some stuff. Definitely hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of the video. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, more workout, weight training stuff, about my techniques and the equipment I use, let me know. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. Have a great day.